What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and we got some crazy stuff going on here right now in our country that you gotta know about. I'm gonna keep you up to date here right now. Remember, I'm your daily source for everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button. Let's jump right in. Here we go. Let me know your thoughts on this. Nearly half of Americans say that Washington should push Ukraine to reach a peace deal with Russia, according to a new poll. Here's the details. About half of Americans, 47%, say that Ukraine should be pushed into a peace agreement with Russia as soon as possible, according to new survey results of an Ipsos poll conducted by the Chicago Council of Global Affairs found that the percentage of Americans who say that US should urge Ukraine to settle, in part so that the cost will lessen for American households, had increased from 38% in July to 47% in November. A similar portion, 48%, said that the survey taken November 18th to the 20th for the US should support Ukraine, quote, for as long as it takes, despite potential costs for American citizens. That percentage has decreased by 10% since July. This comes as the war keeps pressing on. Look at this insane photo showing a huge pile of used Russian rockets in Ukraine from just one city. So this is the amount of rockets that Russia bombarded on Ukraine, just one city. This is how many. It's amazing what they're going through there. Imagine if you live there in the city, and we know a lot of these rockets hit homes, hit apartment buildings, hit hospitals. It's absolutely sickening. I don't even know what to say here. I mean, imagine if you lived there and this was the amount of rockets hitting your city. Retired U.S. Army Major John Spencer posted what he described as the insane photo showing two police officers looking at a fragment pile of Russian rockets that hit Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv. Considered an expert on urban warfare, Spencer has been outspoken on his opinion that the U.S. should send more weapons to Ukraine to help the country defend the invasion by Russia. He wrote, quote, I still strongly believe that the U.S. should provide Ukraine with more weapons. And you could see multiple lists here. Let me zoom this picture out here so you can see another picture here of all of these missiles and rockets that they collected, all sent to one city here recently. Imagine if you lived in that city, what it would be like. Now, Russia themselves have said that they have completed their retreat from one of the major cities, Kherson, here a few weeks ago. So Russia is actually losing ground, and Ukraine is taking ground back. The problem with this is for peace talks and negotiation with Putin, he's completely unreasonable. He basically wants to take over 15 to 20% of Ukraine, parts of the territory that Russia doesn't even, their soldiers don't even occupy. He wants it would be like, you know, if they were at war with the United States, the peace talks would be like, okay, give us California, Alaska, Washington, and Nevada. I mean, Ukraine doesn't want to give up their territory. So, I mean, the guy's just completely unreasonable with the peace talks. And I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this, but right now Ukraine's driving them back, and Russia has even confirmed it themselves with their defense ministry and their statements. So we'll see. We'll see. Meanwhile, on the other front, Chinese-linked hackers have stolen millions of dollars in pandemic relief money, according to the Secret Service. Money that could have went to Americans was literally stolen from us. Yeah, hackers from a cyber criminal group linked to the Chinese government stole at least $20 million from the US in pandemic relief benefits, the first known instance of foreign state sponsored actors tied to pandemic fraud, Secret Service officials told NBC News. The officials said that a Shenzhou-based cyber group, APT41, was a notable player in its hundreds of open investigations probing pandemic fraud from both transnational and domestic players, and that they are a Chinese state-sponsored cyber threat group that is highly adept at conducting espionage missions and financial crimes for personal gain. Since the rollout of the pandemic, billions of dollars have been stolen from fraudulent actors across the US and in other parts of the world through the PPP program and the unemployment insurance program and through various relief programs. Yikes. Facebook's parent company, Meta, which is basically Facebook's company, has threatened to pull all news from Facebook in the US if an ill-considered bill that would compel it to pay publishers passes. A similar thing happened in Australia, actually, and this could happen in the US. In a statement, Meta threatened to pull news from Facebook in the US over a media bill. The bill would require Facebook and other platforms to pay publishers for their news. Meta previously cut all access to news in Australia after a similar bill was passed in the country. Meta, Facebook's parent company, issued a public warning here this week that it could remove all news from its US platform if Congress passes its media competition bill, which would force Meta and other platforms to compensate publishers and broadcasters. Let me know your thoughts on this. By the way, this bill was approved by the Senate Judiciary Committee in September, but it has yet to pass the full Senate chamber. High debts and stagflation have set the stage for the mother of all financial crisis. This comes as the Federal Reserve and the Fed is set to raise interest rates here yet again, as almost 1 in 3 Gen Z workers are not saving for retirement. A new Bankrate survey shows that a staggering number of Zoomers haven't put money aside for retirement since 2021. And remember here that about 50% of Americans actually go into retirement with no retirement savings at all. Yeah, and this is the problem here with Social Security is that about 50% of Americans go into retirement with only Social Security. The other 50% roughly, have additional funds like IRAs, 401ks, or pensions. But the problem with Social Security right now is the average Social Security payment somewhere around $1,500-ish. But the problem with Social Security is that the average rent payment nowadays is around $2,000. So it's not even enough to pay for an apartment, let alone other things like gas, food, electric, a car payment. So the problem with retiring in the golden years and traveling the world and retiring, and living a good life is a very, very big problem for at least half of Americans. Because 60% of Americans, or 60 to 64% of Americans right now, are living paycheck to paycheck. So if people don't take part of their paycheck and put it away for retirement, even if it's 5%, it will grow over time, and it'll grow and it'll grow and it'll grow and it'll grow. that can really add up. So remember here is that 5%, if you take it away, a lot of people won't miss it out of their paycheck. It's actually a write-off. You actually pay less taxes. So because it comes out and it's pre-tax money, you'll actually pay less taxes on the front end. So you'll actually have less taxes taken out of your paycheck. So you actually pay less taxes. And a lot of companies give you a match. So if you have a company match, you actually might so if you take 5% out, your company might match you 5%. You'll actually be getting 10%. Or if they match you 50%, you'll be getting basically you'll be getting free money. So if you get free match, you gotta do it. It's like the best thing ever. It's like saying no to a raise. Yeah, but a lot of people don't do it. And then, years and years and years and years go by, and then there's nothing saved. But if you do it, even if you start with a small amount, that'll literally grow to hundreds of thousands of dollars. You just put it in something like a stock index fund, like Vanguard Total Stock Fund, or it's just something that's in hundreds and hundreds of stocks. It just owns a little bit of share of everything. And when you look here at like the Dow Jones Index or the S&P 500 Index, which is the top 500 biggest companies in the United States. You look at like this is a 30-year timeline. 30 years ago, this was at 3,000. Now it's at 33,000. So it's grown 11 times over the course of 30 years. So it's 11 times more of your money. So you can see here it just grows massively over time, despite the ups and downs and everybody panicking and worrying over all the COVID drop, the pandemic drop, and all these different drops, and the tech drop, and the 1987 drop, and everything. It still grew massively, massively over time, even just by putting a little bit away every paycheck, just, money that you would have spent on lottery or money that you would have spent on, just something trivial, right? And again, you're paying less taxes on it because they will take less taxes out of your paycheck. And it's theoretically a write-off if you itemize as well. So the problem is if you don't save anything, you'll retire with nothing. So this is why, and again, it'll just grow over time. Also, I wanted to show you guys this. Hawaii officials activate National Guard amid Mauna Loa eruption as lava flow towards Key Highway. Take a look at this. This is the first time that this particular there's another volcano there that's been erupting. This one is the first time in 38 years. Take a look at this footage.
Low, Mauna Loa erupting. To give you a better view, though, we go up in the morning dark. Paradise Helicopters' Darren Hamilton, our pilot and guide, giving us rare access.
I assume we'll know when we see the volcano. Yeah, it's just off the kind of the eastern side there. Yeah, about the 1 o'clock position. That is the plume there.
Having flown in military hot zones, Darren even admits this is firepower like no other.
What was it like the first time you flew over lava? It was a blast.
It can also be challenging, especially with heavy fog or volcanic smog.
So there you can see the gases from Fissure 3.
Those acidic gases dangerous if the concentration levels are too high. On the ground, officials closely watching the lava's potential impact on Saddle Road, the main highway that connects the east and west of the island. Erupting last Sunday for the first time in 38 years, Mauna Loa, the world's largest active volcano, is one of 5 that make up Hawaii's Big Island. And it's not the only one currently erupting. Neighboring Kilauea, also active, though no longer shooting lava to the surface like it did in 2018.
We're on Kaupili Street, which is where my house was at, and it's that way, on the opposite side of the subdivision.
Dorothy Thrall invited us to where her home now sits, buried under 60 feet of lava. You can see a metal streetlight fused into the rock. 4 years after Kilauea did this to her Leilani Estates community, she still walks it as though she's on her old street with her old neighbors.
When you have something like this, I assume you're all dispersed after that.
Yeah, we lost that sense of community, and it's what we lost. in addition to the homes.
Mauna Loa's eruption, an emotional trigger for Dorothy and others, forcing the trauma from Kilauea back to the surface. The 2018 lava flow wiped out more than 600 homes here, some untouched, but left lava-locked, an island within the island. Dorothy showed us this video she captured a few weeks back, trekking over lava rock, helping friends gather the last of their belongings from their home. The reminders of devastation here, hard to miss.
This was a home. They evacuated the second night, and I believe it went under the third night.
And just took their home.
Just took their home.
And 4 years later, it's still steaming.
Still steaming, yeah.
And how long will it steam like that?
Probably 30 to 40 years.
How is it that you can still see beauty after so much loss?
Because lava's beautiful. It's Pele's creation. That's how the island was formed. That's how the island was built.
An appreciation shared by Native Hawaiians, leaving offerings on Mauna Loa, and thousands of tourists and locals arriving past sunset just to witness the lava glow.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts there. Hawaii, a beautiful and yet somewhat dangerous place. So don't go too close. It also can, you want to be careful of the volcanic ash and the smoke there. So if you're going there, if you live there, you gotta be a little bit careful. You don't get a little bit too close there. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day on our YouTube channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to click the bell icon after you subscribe. And don't forget to like and share these videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And Congress is considering $3,000 to $3,600 checks this month. Here's a video about that. So click on one of those videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.